Hello, hello. Happy Wednesday, September 3rd, 2025. I'm still getting used to how quiet this room is. It's very quiet. I'm so used to excess noise in the background. So we'll get used to it. How is everybody today? LD Industries, hello, hello. Got a few people on the YouTube side. Juicy Lucy, good evening. Russell, hello. Sporting some bright blue fingers tonight. Received your noodler safety pen and promptly overfilled it. There you go. Well, that's what you do with safety pens. You overfill them. Will, hello. What are we working on today? To be determined. Hans, hello. Good to see you. Virtually. We're going to finish up one pen. I have a little something to take a look at. Actually, we'll probably do that first. FedEx was very well. FedEx missed the mark yesterday, which is funny because I had a package coming due and it didn't make it, so it was rescheduled for today. And McPenthusiast, hello, how are you? And so I get an email this morning that says your package will be delivered between 9:15 and 10:30. Like fantastic. The Sheaffer, yes, the Sheaffer. And all of a sudden I'm sitting, I'm working. I have a little routine in the morning. I go and I make sure I get all the packages out right away. And then all of a sudden I have a sub for the mail pickup. And she's here like an hour and a half early. So I'm like, all right, well, I mean, better than not showing up or better than being late, I guess. I mean, although, if I'm here, I'm here. And so I'm like, okay. And after shipping, I get around to emails and, ordering and doing other things in the shop here. And all of a sudden I get an email notification. Yeah, surprise. Yeah. And there's a picture of my package that has been delivered. Well, now we're kind of in a new place, and there's no sign on the door, and there's no suite number on the door. So you kind of, if you've been here long enough, you know where it is. If you're a sub, maybe, if you've never delivered here, then maybe you don't know. And I'm thinking, well, where is this? And I look at it. They delivered the box to my freaking house. So I immediately grab my stuff, lock the door, get in the car, drive home, which is now we've got road construction now, so I have to take a longer route home. So I mean, it's not too big of a deal. It's 10 minutes, but it's it's a needless 25, 30 minutes out of my day that didn't need to happen. And the funny part is there's one of those window envelopes with the invoice tucked in it, and the invoice says ship to my address here, and the shipping label has the address to my house. So at least I got it. The Porch Pirates didn't get it this time, and hopefully that will be corrected soon enough. Hopefully I won't have too many more things delivered there. But I did get them, and so I do have a little something to show off today. I haven't spent much time with it at all. I had to ship one of these out, and unfortunately, it came after the postal lady came. So thankfully, that person lives in Wisconsin, so they will still get their order. If I ship it out tomorrow, they'll get it pretty quick. They'll probably get it Friday. So anyway, what else is going on here? What else is cooking? I don't know. That's kind of it, I guess. I have nothing to complain about today. I mean, and not that I like complaining, but the growing pains, as it were. Not even growing pains. They're just getting started again pains. Those have kind of all worked themselves out this week. Supposedly everything is working how it's supposed to work. So I'm pleased with that. My only complaining is the website seems to be working properly now. We had some checkout issues, and we finally had some people that were willing to work and dig deeper than you're supposed to have that box checked because it says security, so maybe we need to check that box, which is not always the case, right? It doesn't work that way. Just because it says secure, it doesn't mean it has to be checked or is applicable for that matter. So we got that figured out. We had some issues with Amazon. And there is a big piece of something floating around here, which is funny because normally it would be cat something. That just reminds me, I need to buy O-rings from you. I need you to buy O-rings for me too. You put the order in today, it'll go out tomorrow. I'll pack it. I might even pack it up later on today. We had issues with Amazon, and that was miraculously resolved in quick fashion yesterday. But they never sent me because we had this problem with the account. And yeah, the hurdles are getting lower and further apart. It will come together. Yeah, so but my one thing is now is like for the last 9 months, I've been essentially unemployed, short of, having to be in some sensible fashion awake and ready to go by 2 o'clock for Twitch. and getting up early is not my thing. It's coming a little bit. Tomorrow's going to be brutal. Lisa has to be at work at 6:45. So, and we share a car. So, I was going to ride in, but I've got possibly have an appointment in the afternoon, which reminds me, I may or may not get a phone call during this stream, and if I do, I will have to take that call very briefly regarding finishing up moving some crap in here. But anyway, so yeah, the morning thing. Hello, Fuzzy. The morning thing, I am, and I used to. Eric and I used to ride early in the morning. He got me in this ridiculous habit of getting up at like 4 in the morning, 4:30. I'd be at his house by 5, and we would go ride for an hour, hour 15 maybe. And then the reward was being able to still have time to go to the coffee shop, get a hot scone fresh out of the oven, and a hot coffee, chit chat, and then still have time to go home, shower, get dressed, and get to work, and I'd still be early. So we did that for a while until it got to be winter. We did it, I think, through pretty much close to November. Hi, Glenn. And then then we never picked it up the following spring. I think we started once or twice, and then it died off. But when I no longer had to be up at 4:30 in the morning, I was going to bed at 8. So anyway, I've got to redo that mental process. But there it is. All right, let's take a look at what we got here. Scones in the morning. Yeah. So, one of my favorite downtown coffee shops particularly when we were located downtown, fresh chocolate chip scones. We've talked about them on Twitch before, and they were amazing. In fact, one day we talked about it for so long that the next day I happened to be going through town. I pulled the car over. Let's get some scones. And I bought 2 so I could have one now and one for later. So, all right. So this came in today. This is the brand new Sheaffer Legacy. I thought we'd take a look at it. I probably won't ink it up, but we can just look at it for now. I might ink it up. There's can't really see. Black and chrome trim, fountain pen medium. Okay, so they've got medium on there with anticipation. Anticipation of a fine or a broad. You must look into Twitch better than YouTube. Well, for all intents and purposes, I mean, if you're on one or the other for this, it's the same. If you want to engage with other, Mike Madison from Ink Dependence, Brad Dowdy from the Pen Addict, they have Twitch streams as well. So if you want to engage with them, Twitch is the place to do it. So very different type of scone than what the civilized world UK enjoys. Here they are often filled with fruit or chocolate, usually eaten without cream or butter. More for breakfast than for tea. I will eat them all day long. All day long I will eat scones. You worked at a bagel shop, and on occasion the baker was late in getting the bake ready in time to open. Bagels are nice, but right out of the oven are fantastic. Yeah, we happened to show up one day, and I think it was like 6:30, 6 or 6:30, and they were like, they didn't have them in the case, and I'm like, what's up with? And then you could see them in the back. They had like a little tray where they were cooling off. So I want one of those. So here is the Sheaffer. My camera is at a weird angle because this is actually straight, so I have to really. Is there much UK pen streaming? There's not a whole lot of pen streaming going on Twitch. Brad, Mike, me. There's a couple of folks who do some ink stuff. Olive Octopus Ink. and like it's probably a ton of others. Not a ton. There's not a lot. It's primarily Twitch is primarily like video game streaming, which I think is maybe a weird thing, but as promises passed in the distance. Yeah. So when I went home to go get these, I said, you know what? This was Lisa wanted to wash this, and I got home and I'm like, well, you know what? I it's just better to have something on here. If I drop something, not only does it not make noise, but it doesn't roll off. I was gonna flip it over. It's got this is actually the dirty side apparently. Got denim on the back. So my Lisa's mother made this for me. So I love it. Great. When your dad makes scones, we time it to the minute for when it won't burn you too badly out of the oven. Yeah, yeah. So anyway, when I went home today, I picked up my pad. All right, let's take a look at this. It's kind of nice. I like this packaging. I'm always one to say, you know what, at least folks in the U.S., we don't really care much about packaging. In fact, I would rather sacrifice the packaging, big packaging, for something functional. I think Franklin Christoph gets that right. Giving a little, I've got one around here somewhere, a little pen, a little kind of like a fabric pen zipper pen sleeve. Your favorite pen box is no box. Yes. Yes. Especially when it's like something significant, you know. But what I will say about this that makes me happy, and I get it. It's supposed to be their flagship pen. If you're gonna give any pen a big box, it should be the, you know, what you define as the flagship. But what I do like about it is it still fits inside. It's not too big. It still fits inside my preferred USPS shipping box. So this doesn't automatically mean I have to ship it in something bigger that's going to cost me money, extra money. You know, it's because at this price point, this ships for free in the U.S. And you know, in some cases, these companies, the boxes are thicker, they're taller, you know, they're wider. They just don't fit in the standard, what we call the priority mail, the video box or the by weight box, which means you have to go to this huge monstrosity, and sometimes that costs you an extra $4, which doesn't sound like a lot, but when you ship a lot of those, that adds up quickly. The most elaborate pen box you have had was the Diplomat Zep. Well, you know, the Zep's not a cheap pen, so much more expensive than the Sheaffer. So I'm not surprised. You know what you haven't, what maybe for those in the chat, both sides, YouTube and Twitch, the most elaborate pen box, and I can't think of anything more elaborate than this. I really, really, really can't. The most elaborate box was the Wall Eversharp Skyscraper. And if you're not familiar with the pen, it was really an outstanding pen. I wonder if if I can find a picture of one here. Let's see if I can find a picture. And it came with this crazy box. Oh yeah, the multi-copper Frankenstein. Yeah, that set is pretty awesome. Let's see if I can find a picture of this. It's the 100-year Skyscraper limited edition. Here we go. Here we go. All right, hang on. Let me see. Oh, I don't have it set up. Wow, something's not happening right here. I'll have to figure this out. My apologies. For some reason, I don't have that set up. But it came with this huge crystal, like a candy dish. This just obnoxious thing. And it was like, it was that long. I mean, it was just huge. It was ridiculous. You had to ship two. In most cases, I had to ship the customer 2 boxes because the pen actually came in a box. And then there was this huge crystal display for the pen, and the pen sat in the middle. And it launched at the DC Pen Show. I forget what year it was. I guess whatever the 100th anniversary was. I don't remember. It launched at the DC show, and Sid Saperstein had his table out in the lobby, if you remember the old location, many years ago. And apparently in the middle, and so he was in the lobby, which had security, but it also meant that night, when the cleaning crew came around, they decided they were going to move the tables slightly. So I don't know, so that they could clean, or I don't know what they were doing, but they moved his table, and they moved it such that the whole thing, all these crystal displays that are, they're this tall, all fell and broke. So he's coming into the first day of the show, and he's got no displays for his pens. Yeah, it was nutty. It was nutty. Drew Brown had a recent video unboxing of a pen. I forget what pen it was, but the box was insane. Yeah, your mind keeps coming back to the Pelican Lighthouse of Alexandria. The outer box is so massive it qualified for oversized shipping with UPS. Okay. Another one is the Mont Blanc John Lennon. That thing was huge. It was, it wouldn't fit on the screen. It was just, it had a 45 RPM in it. Record, plastic, like what you would, I think it was plastic, like what you would get like from Mad Magazine. Do you remember getting records from Mad Magazine back in the, I'm really showing my age on this one. Yeah, but that came in a huge box. And like when we closed the store, I actually had somebody come in, I think it was the last week, and his mother was a big John Lennon fan. He bought the box for her. I said, there's no pen in this box. I know. It's just the box. You like the old font coming back? I wish they had kept or brought back the apostrophe S at the end of Sheaffer's. Yeah. And then you open it up, and then you get the new. I mean, it's a nice box. So here's the inside. You've got the nice Sheaffer logo on the top. This is great here. Well, we'll deal with this in a minute. But here's the rest of the box. This has got a nice little pull tab. Although I found this a little chintzy. This actually has a top and a bottom. I guess maybe this stuff should have been in there. This is a lint-free cleaning cloth. Got a couple cartridges that are just floating around in there. They couldn't figure a better way to do that. What do we got? We got, I guess this is your standard, whatever. This is nice. Nice little book. Oh, this isn't even a book. It's a card, is what it is. Step into a world where history meets innovation, where every stroke tells an exquisite story, and where elegance is more than just an accessory. It's a legacy. Crafted with precision, legacy isn't just a tool. It's a companion for those who believe in the power of the written word. Okay. Well, all right. Props to Sheaffer. Props to Sheaffer, because this right here, and if anybody from Newell Rubbermaid is listening, and I know the chance of that is entirely very slim, this is what you should have done with the Parker 51. What they did for that launch was just criminal. Criminal. Everybody should have been fired. Everybody. And I mean everyone. And if somebody suggested, you know what, maybe we ought to do something. I mean, you know, they could have given the 51 as much as I don't like that pen. They should have at least given it its time. If they're going to use the same box, they put everything else in, and they're not going to invest in a box, put a little card, put a little something in there that tells the history of the 51. I didn't want to say it, Hans. They should have started out by making a decent pen. How much harder, seriously, was it to make a threaded 51 than it would have been to make a friction fit cap? You know, that technology is not that hard. It's not that hard, since, you know, they're probably putting, yes, yeah, you're right on top of me. Slip cap with a clutch. Yeah, I mean, it's not that hard of a technology. They figured it out in 39. You know, I mean, they probably, it's not like they're making the threads on the inside of the cap, right? There's another piece that they're just sticking in the cap, and I suppose maybe they already have that, but they don't have it in exactly that size, I'm betting, right? So they had to make it. They could have just as well made a simple clutch like the 51. I mean, don't get me started. Just don't get me started. Yeah. Anyway, let's look at this. This is pretty great. I don't know if you can see this. That's a nice touch. Really nice touch. This is a leather sleeve. Oops. Timeless innovation. It's really a nice sleeve. And I do like the multicolor. That's the same logo they used during the PFM logo. Yeah. Isn't that nice? It's beautiful. It's really, really nice. It's nice. I like this. They could have cheaped out. They could have used black. They could have. They made it a different color. It really looks nice. This like deep burgundy. How great would a deep burgundy pen be? Well, you know what? Don't get me started. October. Maybe I'm looking forward to October. Here it is, though. It looks like a legacy. It looks like a legacy heritage, I guess, is probably what it would be considered. They made some leather cases with that logo in metal as clasps. Yes, they did. Yeah, they're fantastic. I've got one somewhere. They care. Yeah. And I really haven't. This is the longest I've had this out of the box. So I took one out to check it for the other customer, and that was it. Really very simple. We've got Sheaffer on the cap band. That's it. Not much. And it's my grimy paws all over it. The cap looks a little bit different than the last version of the Legacy. They've really rounded this off quite a bit. It's not squared off like the Legacy ones. It's a tight clip, a really tight clip. It's not as springy as I would have as some of the other ones, but it's tight. It's probably not coming off. Oh, look at that! They made a clutch, a slip cap with a clutch. This looks almost exactly like a Legacy 2 or that Legacy era, or the late Legacies. You've got an O-ring there. They've imprinted the M on the back for medium, which I kind of wish they would find a better way to do it, because that always wears off, right? Like, haven't you figured that out after 50 years? 2 days in a row. Yeah, it's a brand new pen. But feed looks good. It looks nice. It just says Sheaffer, and then it's got the registered trademark symbol on it. This is very very smooth unscrewing this. There's no, so it's got to insert inside the brass barrel. And that's a nice, I always like the Sheaffer with this metal part at the end of the converter, and it always fit in so nice. Coming with the converter is a win too. These days you never know. Yeah, I mean, I was always upset with Sheaffer for a while, because when we first started carrying Sheaffer, all the pens came with a converter. 100s, 300s, Preludes, yada, yada. And then all of a sudden they decided, you know what, the 100 doesn't need a converter. We're gonna take that out. We'll keep it in the 300 and like the intensity, but we're gonna take it out of the 100. And I don't remember if they took it out of the Prelude or what they did. But then it came back, and so then you would have like some that didn't have. Is it the size of a PFM? Yeah, it is. I don't have a PFM handy right now. But yeah, it looks exactly the same size as the previous version of Legacy. And I actually meant to grab a Legacy. This cap is distinctly a little bit different, but it's nice in the hand. It's really a, it posts nice, and the weight actually really makes it sit pretty much back in your hand here. It's a nice click. So that's the new Legacy. $100 pen without a converter. Yeah, well, the Sheaffer 100 was not a $100 pen. It hasn't been, but it now comes with a converter. So I got those expressions. The 100 expressions finally came in today with the fine nib, which I've been waiting for. And I look, yeah, they all have converters, every one of them. So that's the new Legacy. It's kind of nice. The packaging is nice. The box is not too, yeah, Platinum 3776. Holy moly. Well, the converter thing for Japanese pens, in Japan, none of them come with converters. None of them. It's an extra add-on. They only put them in primarily for the the U.S. market or the Western market. But yeah, when you go to Japan and you try to buy something there, they almost never have a converter in them. Ever. That's just how it is. Oh, they've even got it right here. Timeless innovation right on the back. I didn't even notice that. Nice. It's nice. I like it. I'd like to see it in some more colors. A deep burgundy would be nice. A blue, a green, black with gold trim. I mean, they could do well with this, even with the steel nib, if they give us some colors. So that is that. I'm gonna put this somewhere where I don't get it inked on. Hang on, let me be right back. All right. Lamy doesn't ship with converters. It depends on the Lamy. The more expensive ones do. Yeah, most of them don't, though. Yeah, your Safari is pretty cheap. All-Star Lux, you know. I guess they assume partly if it's geared toward younger people, maybe it's just easier to use a cartridge. So I don't know. Just making a guess. All right, we are going to test this. I guess we could have tested. We tested, yeah. Well, no, we put the sack on this yesterday, didn't I want to get this done. Does the studio ship with one? You know, that's a really good question. I can't remember. I've not had a Lamy pen in 9 months. The gold nib ones do. The gold nib ones do for sure. But maybe not the steel nib. I don't think the steel nib ones do. All right, I'm going to test this with water first. Lamy's coming soon. Soon. Well, I mean, and before end of year, I'll have Lamy. You felt guilty just buying O-rings, so I got ammonia-free pen flush as well. It's been quite popular, actually. And I heard the order printout. I've got this really cool setup where if an order comes in, it automatically prints to my printer. That works. So that way I don't have to waste time going in. Like I come in the morning and they're all rolled off the printer, which is kind of fun. Kind of fun when you hear it too. All right. I just realized another thing I need. I need a. I got to write a list because yesterday I mentioned I said I have to get hand lotion or hand cleaner, and it took me 45 minutes at the end of the day to try to remember what it was I said I needed. And I need a recycle bin here for all this paper that I use instead of just throwing it in the garbage. Well, I offer Lamy ink and bottles. Yep. I am strategically working my way through the brands. Just as a heads up, Tasha ink is next. Visconti ink is next. Tasha wraps and pen sleeves and Girologio leather cases 1 through 12 are coming next. They're next on the hit list. And then and Oasis and Oasis journals and Petite journals are coming next. Those will be here this week. But I didn't want to get into Lamy until I had a few other things under my belt, and then I can devote my efforts and my time and my money to Lamy, because Lamy is a huge catalog. It's a very big catalog, and there's a lot of really good things in the catalog. I mean, there's a couple of dogs that don't sell, you know, like there is anywhere. But you know, you want to buy Lamy, you want to buy pretty much all the Safaris, all the All-Stars, all the Luxes, all the Studios. You want to buy the Dialogue CCs and the Dialogue 3s, which I have this open because I need to give this a little bit of a clean today. Do they still do the necks? Yeah, I think they do. I think so. The Lamy All-Stars light enough you can easily use it. Yeah. You know, so I mean, there's a lot of pens there. And a lot of nib options. But I wanted to get some leather cases and some kimono cases and some Tasha ink. And I'm a big fan of some of the Visconti inks too. So um, I wanted to get those. And I wanted to show Visconti a little bit of love. Do they still do oblique nibs? I assume you're talking about Lamy. Lamy does oblique medium, oblique broad, and oblique double broad on the Lamy 2000. They don't offer oblique, as far as I know, on um, their standard steel nib option, or gold for that matter, that they have on everything else. They don't offer oblique on them. Wow, that's pretty nice, huh? Okay, so it does thread in the trumpet a little bit, but it's tight. It's tight. Yeah, this is a vintage Sheaffer um, touchdown filling. That's nice. Yeah, this can be. Who might carry an older Sheaffer ballpoint refill for Targa Slim? It might be called the Sheaffer K. Send me an email. If it's the K, I think I can. I think that's Sheaffer should never. The way they market their refills, I think they still make the K. I had this question from somebody. I don't remember who it was. Maybe it was you. I don't remember. Just recently. Um, I don't think it was you. Send me an email, and I believe it is the K, and I can get it for you on my next Sheaffer order. Which, if somebody wants to buy me out of my last couple of legacies, I'll have to put in a new order. Yeah, yeah, that'll work. This customer will like this. You doubt that legacies last past your podcast this week? Yeah, I hope so. Because I kind of wanted to keep one, but then I'm like, if I keep one now, and this is nice. Don't get me wrong, this is nice, and I don't want to just wait in because I can't be guaranteed when Sheaffer is bringing if because they move at a snail's pace. Um, they're faster than Pilot, but they move at a snail's pace. Um, I just don't need another. I don't need another black modern pen. That's what I don't need. But it's a nice pen. It looks nice. The packaging outstanding. Really, really. And that little leather pen sleeve, I like that a lot. Ironically, I have this. This is old. This on my pen stand or on my desk. This is the Legacy 2. So when the Legacy 2 came out, they had they gave you an acrylic pen rest for it. So you could put your, it's really nice. So I've had that on my desk forever. Yes, so 23 karat gold spray paint. You can fancy up the Black Legacy for me. That's so kind of you. So kind of you. You got a platinum desk set coming soon? Cool. I picked up a Sailor desk set. Jacqueline, thank you for the follow. Welcome. I should probably get that, bring that Sailor desk set in here and ink that up. Although it's never been inked. So I don't know. Oh, platinum. Not platinum. Yeah. Do you have any experience with the modern Conklin crescent filler? I bought a used brass one. I'm wondering what the sack is made of and how long I can expect it to last. I want to. I think they use standard latex. I don't think they use anything fancy on those. If I'm not mistaken, but the last brass crescent I had, you've done several. Okay, that's what I thought. I didn't bother. I needed a new sack. I just sent it in. I sent it in. I'm not gonna mess with that. Tommy has oblique also in gold nibs, both silver and black. Okay. I don't remember ever seeing them in the catalog. You have a Pilot double disc set made with hand cut crystal, and I've never been inked, or else I would use it all the time. Yeah. Yeah, the adhesive they use could be disassembly channels. Yeah, so I was like, you know what? I don't. Partly because it's really a warranty thing, and I just didn't want to. I don't want to screw with it. Yeah, I could do it, but they're not going to tell me. If I had one and it wasn't, and this was a customer's pen, and I was like, you know what? Just I'll facilitate the return for you. How about that? They said they'll take care of it. They did it. They sent it back in no time at all. So Waterman. Yeah. But I have seen some of the modern crescent fillers, the sacks go bad. So, which is weird, but maybe they got in on that, any number of the bad batches that we had in the industry a while back. Let's see if I can do it this way. Well, that'll work. Maybe. Friend of yours wanted to swap the gold trim on his red crescent filler with silver trim for another pen. I don't recommend that project. It was interesting to completely disassemble it. Okay. I wish they would just give us disassembly instructions for modern pens, but I probably most things are glued together in some way, shape, or form. I cleaned out my salad spinner today. You learned You ended up learning more than you ever wanted to know about how they built their crescent fillers? All right. Yep, that does break down Conklin's adhesive. That's good to know. Do I have a pen holder and a spinner? Yeah, there's two. They're made from turkey basters, cut off turkey basters. And the other one's more like a pipette. Salad spinner is courtesy of Hans over at the Desk Set Emporium. Well, I didn't even look. Is that a valid domain? Do we have a domain registration on that? Turkey had to give up being based in order for Brian to have his custom pen spinner. Yeah, I don't think they minded much. You may register it. Sorry. Probably cost you $20. All right. I am just gonna buff this up a little bit, and this guy is done. I am hoping to be able to offer those desk sets within the next week or two. I don't have any place to put them right now, so I'm kind of waiting for some storage options. All right. Well, that pen can go back to its. Let's take a look at this real quick. We've got some definite shrinkage going on here. We've got trumpet is fairly well banged up. See the new Magna Carta is suffering from tariffs. Yeah, I would imagine so. Everybody is. All right, that's about as good as that's going to get, I think. Put in there. Those finished yesterday. Okay. Actually, I'm gonna. I don't know if I'm running out of ink or this is just suffering from the classic problem of not being used. So I'll keep that. Um, white powder on the white feed. Wow, cleaned up nice. I guess it looks kind of awful once it's inked up. You just need to use whiteout in it exclusively. Definitely not platinum carbon black. Oh, that's one stiff nib. Holy smokes. I love Sheaffer nibs, but boy, I wish they would be. You have a white feed you thought was blue, but it was just badly stained. Right tine is up just a little bit. Yeah, Osmoroid had some white feed. You had what is the shelf life of a bottle? A small bottle of shellac, if rarely used. Um, that's a good question. I've never run into an issue. But they say it does go bad if left too long. You're going as long as it's still liquid, it's probably get maybe 10, 15 years. I never ever run out, so I always when I get low, I end up having to make up some shellac, and then there's always a little bit that doesn't fit in a bottle, so it just ends up in mine. I guess try it on something. If it doesn't stick, well. All right, did that clean up okay? Yeah, that cleaned up. Cleaned up all right. No, it's not going to dry up in a year or two. If you leave the cap off, maybe. And most shellac is overly viscous is not the right term, but it's probably not the right term, but it's overly watery to begin with. I don't know if you'll be able to see this, but I like to leave mine so that I actually leave the cap off for a while. This might drop, this might not. It'll probably drop. I like it. I like it really. Oh, then you can't see it. Really thick. So when I have a new bottle, I like it to. This is the only bottle I ever use. So what I do is um, over time it naturally dries out a little bit. Yeah, yeah, it's runnier. Yeah, that's that's the right term. Um, I once thought, you know what, maybe I'll mix it up the way I like it, but then I mean, it's perfectly fine when it's runny. I just like it thicker because then I don't have to worry about it dropping all over the place. But if you let it, if you take your jar and you kind of put the cap kind of at a, you know cockeyed like that with just a little bit, allow for it to evaporate a little bit, it'll get a little bit thicker. Um, and it can make it in certain instances easier to apply. But as mine is off a lot, it does evaporate, and so then if I have some of the leftovers from the can or whatever, I just pour it in there, and it kind of naturally works its way out. All right, so this guy is good. It's a little bit of an extra fine, kind of a. I don't really like extra fines, so I would probably swap that out. All right, let's see if we can get this Colonial Gray LK Deluxe open. I did actually use section pliers on it last time to some degree of success. But then it stopped moving. And this is what you'll run into. On this particular model. Getting the section out is just about the worst thing for you, that and removing speedline fillers. Speedline's actually pretty easy. I mean, of all the options, I think that's the easiest. Sections aren't too bad, but when they're plastic on plastic like this, they can really bind up. And this just does not want to budge. I was shocked the other day when it moved. Not coming. Just for giggles. Let's see if the green one opens. You should be or will be hearing your printer printing off an order. I just played. Yeah, I just heard something print off. Yeah. Thank you. Is there a big difference between the clear shellac and the amber? Just the color? Yeah. The funny thing, true story. Most people should use amber. It should be like 99% of your use case. I offered the clear because there are some situations that really dictate needing a clear shellac. They're few and far between. They're usually situations where you have a transparent, maybe transparent bulb fillers. You've got section threads that are clear on a clear barrel. And when I started offering clear shellac, because I got some for myself, I think I even put in there, it's, amber should be used for most everything, and clear dictates, when you have a transparent barrel. Like 50% of the people buy clear, and I can't believe that there's that many bulb fillers that are being restored out there. I would go with amber, unless you absolutely have to have clear. And if you don't know if you need clear, then you don't need clear. Does that make sense? So this is still not coming open. We're just going to let it soak. Amber it is, yeah. Let's see how our... This thing is never coming open. It's never coming open. I don't really want to work on these pens today. they need to sit and soak. And I don't even know that soaking's going to do it. Oh, well, I can move the spring, but I just can't. Edison does bulb fillers. Yeah, they do make a bulb filler. We actually had an exclusive with them that ended up being a bulb filler many moons ago. But they're not clear. We had wanted to do an exclusive, something that was vintage inspired, and we wanted to have two options, one in an ebonite, and then one in a more modern material. Yeah, it's $100 extra. Yeah. And at the time, he was just starting out with introducing his bulb filler. So we thought, well, okay, we'll get in on the launch of that. And it ended up being very exclusive. I think we sold... The acrylic resin was really beautiful. It was a blue, white and blue marble. It was really a good looking pen. We sold that like the dickens. But the ebonite, almost nobody bought. It was so weird. I want to say we sold like 6. I had one good friend of mine, bless his soul. He bought one of each. He might have got serial number 1 or 2 or something. You like the look of clear better? But then you're weird? Yeah, well. You're not weird. We're gonna be done with that. Yeah, it was a nice ebonite too. It was really a really pretty pen, and it was a flat top, and I really wanted a cartridge converter, but the pen ended up being a little bit pricey, and of course ebonite's a little bit more pricey, and so I don't even remember what they cost. $400 maybe, which was a lot of a lot of money for a non-gold nib pen. All right, so these aren't working. Let's I'm going to use this tray, so I'm going to get something else for these. Yeah, so if you ever come across those, yeah, the ebonite is stupidly hard to find. Because I think there's only 6. All right. What are we going to do next? All right. Today, next on the agenda, we're going to go with a little color. Anybody recognize that one? How about that one? Some of my favorites. Must be going. See you Friday. Friday, yeah. Friday will be the podcast day. I won't be here, but we'll be on the podcast. See you then. Is my mother-in-law still sewing pen pattern bags on Etsy by any chance? No, she's not. I should tell her. She needs to sell them on Etsy. They are nice though, aren't they? How about that? Is that a good selection of colors for y'all? Yeah, I think she had Lisa's mom had some fabric and like a lot of it, and she had enough to make certain things, and when she was done making what she made last fall, that was it. So there was no more. Every once in a while, she finds some materials though. We just got a package in the mail from her yesterday. We've got another these screens behind me. We before I moved over here, I had a set that were like this kind of light sage green ish. And then there's like this little middle strip in the middle to cover the bars. And she made us a couple of middle strips and things like that. So. She's too busy to have an Etsy shop. She is the most busiest retired woman I have ever met. All right, we've got 2 of the rarest Esterbrook pastels here. Now, rare is a bad term. I'm sorry. It's not the 2 of the most desirable. I like these later pastels a lot. These all have this is an anomaly. This one here, but these all have colored jewels. So this blue's got kind of like a light purple jewel. This is country green. It's got green jewels. My favorite, tempo red. Got red. Close second, aloha gold. And then this later pink with the pink jewels. Not to be confused with the pink with the black jewels. There's a little bit of fading on this one. That's not too bad. The cap. Oh, the cap's, it sat in a window or something. See, it's darker on that side than it is on this side. Let's find another one. Problem with some of these is they all fade. Here's another one. You can see this one's got the double stickers. But the sticker's wrong because it says H and it's not an H. It's a CH. So I think what they did is they just, they had these stickers and they just slapped them on. Rare ombre prototype. There are the original ombre. I guess that's the only one I have. That's the better of the two. I've got one that's looks like the right color, but the cap is bad, so. And then here is the other pink, which maybe more peach. Guess what you got today? And it cost $4. Waterman 20. Tell me when I'm right. A Waterman 552. Parker Red John. The Namiki Emperor. The one with the band on the cap. Salad spinner with the built-in turkey baster. There we go. You got to sell. Jason wins. Jason wins. What an odd bunch of people we are. I love it. All right. I don't know what nibs are in these. Let's take a look. Maybe there's another. Greg. Okay, that looks good. Oh, nice Falcon on this one. 2442. 1554 on the tempo. 1550, my least favorite. 1461. I don't even know what the name of this color is. And then this guy, we've had a couple of these, 2668. This is a weird, weird, weird pen. And every one I have come across, which by now is kind of still on one hand, I think. Everyone I've come across has this sticker on it. 295 medium Dura. Yeah, it's kind of a turquoise. It's not that's not this blue. It's not country green. It's kind of a turquoise. And it's, what is it? LJ size. LJ? Yeah, it's LJ size. They never advertised that. Uh-oh. We're playing with fire. Well, that's a bad sign. So apparently somebody opened it up. That's all that's left of the J bar. I usually try these first before I take the heat to them if I can feel a little movement. They're usually, this one's not coming. Oh, it is. Seems like it's getting a little warmer here today. I don't know why. Dang it. It's a pretty shade of yellow. Yeah, it's the light is actually a little bit. It's not doing it any favors. It's really a mustard. It's called Aloha Gold. We had some ink leaking in there, and that's why that was. Giving us grief. All right, all different nips. Love that. That one's pretty stuck. As is often the case with some of these pastels, you find them in exceptionally clean condition. And you can usually tell the inner cap is sparkling white. Has anyone 3D printed a holder for the salad spinner in different sizes? I'm thinking different size cones with the groove for zip ties. Oh, that's an interesting idea. Watch, next thing you know, there will be pre-made salad spinners available on all your favorite retailers. Yeah, it would be a great solution. Your daughter gave me her 3D printer. It needs to pay for taking up space here. Yeah, and the problem is programming it, right? Like, we got lots of ideas for things you could make. But you need someone who's talented enough they can program what you need, and I haven't the faintest idea how the heck to do that. Your brother 3D printed some remarkable things. The problem is I really don't need something like this, or else I'd ask him. Yeah, he's capable of doing that. There's one thing I wanted to print with a 3D printer. What the heck was it? Oh, I know what I want to. I know what I need to print. Can I pay your brother to design me something so that I can send it to a printer? I have an idea that I can sell. That maybe 6 people on the planet would use. You once bought a 3D adapter of a Esterbrook ballpoint. Works great. Yeah, that's the product, right? Like 6 people want that. I just counted the other day. I have 15 Esterbrook ballpoints. The FJ model. If you're keeping tabs. Oh, where'd it go? There it is. But, you know, yeah, I would not. Yeah, I would. I would not ask for it for free. I absolutely pay. I know there is value inside that man's head. A whole boatload of it. You know, every obsolete refill on the planet, you could make an adapter for. He used to sell 3D printed Christmas ornaments while he was in school. They did very well back before anyone else was doing it. Wow. So many different kinds of 3D stick that you can use to print, waterproof, paintable, plus 3D printing but is evolving so fast. You buy a printer today and next week it's already outdated. Yeah. I think I'm better off having designs made and then sending them to printers. Reminds me of a funny. It figures you found a salad spinner after cleaning 12 pens. Yeah. You have some wax seals he did for you. Wonderful work. That time involved was insane. You always want to send out the work. Home printers without spending a fortune will not do the job. Yeah, right. It reminds me of since last weekend was San Francisco Pen Show, I once had a woman come up to me in San Francisco. Quite possibly certifiably insane, and I mean that in the way I mean that. She had all these very expensive ballpoints and roller balls, and all had proprietary refills that were no longer made, and somehow it was my fault. She took it out on me. Well, what am I supposed to do with this Omos ballpoint? What do you mean they don't make that anymore? Well, they went out of business. It was right after Omos went out of business, and boy, she lit into me. That was something else that day. I think my buddy Jason was there next to me, and he just looked at me like, "Whoo!" I'm like, okay, next. But yeah, if you could have a 3D printed copy of every one of those proprietary refills that are no longer made, you know, the one for the Mont Blanc back in class. All right. The Mont Blanc clip action. Y'all know that one? Actually, it will take the Omos refill if you break the tab off the back. Send your brother an email. Say it's 50-50 whether he's up for doing 3D printing type work again. Bet there are kids at the high school that can do that stuff. Yeah. What I don't understand, I don't comprehend, and I wish somebody could explain to me the process, and I've never bothered to spend the time, so maybe it's not as complicated as I think it is how do you take, not that we would 3D print this, but let's just use this. How do we take this, and how does somebody get, I mean, you must have to scan it somehow. It's CAD design, yeah. I mean, I get that, but how do you get the dimensions in there? You don't take calipers. There must be a tool. Yeah, I would just like to see that process done. I don't know how it works. Your brother, I'm sorry, Hans, your brother is overqualified for, there is nothing he's not overqualified for. He is, I understand that when you sometimes refer family members for jobs, people may pump them up as being really, really awesome and whatnot, but you were not lying when you said your brother is the smartest man you know. I'm flummoxed by how smart he is. I'm intimidated by how smart he is. That's how smart he is. And I'm not usually intimidated by too many people or too many things. I just kind of go with the flow. But if he's having fun, yeah, and he has no other project going on, you never know. Yeah, I mean, and that's how this kind of stuff gets done, right? There's not much money to be made in this. You know, the number of clip action Mont Blanc ballpoints. I mean, I've had rocket science. Yeah, I've had 3 or 4 in 20 years. but I don't go looking for them because I know every time, and I get them in a lot or something. I buy a collection and I go, oh crap, here's another one of these things. Your aunt married a guy that became a scientist for DuPont. Nice. You tried designing pen-related projects in the early 2010s. They were a dead end, but it was interesting. Too ahead of your time. Yeah, yeah. I mean, you got to have something that's gonna, you're gonna make a few units. You can't do a refill for an OMOS ballpoint when you might sell one a year. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense, right? So you've got to find the right project. Or be willing to commit to buying every single clip action ballpoint, Mont Blanc ballpoint you find. And then, of course, the hardest part of the equation is if you're going to sell these, is what is an appropriate price to compensate yourself for the time and investment spent. Nobody wants nobody wants a $50 refill. The complex puzzle boxes he made as gifts for me, printed in one single go, are just absurd. Even the company said they wouldn't work, and they all did. Wow. I'd love to see those someday. I don't think you've shown me those. He had a friend that was a genetics scientist for Jackson Laboratory here in Maine. He looked like a college absent-minded professor. When I come there, I can give him a try. Yeah. Yeah, maybe I'll reach out to him. I might have a couple other projects if I sit down and think about it. What other problems need to be solved? You live in the South and don't find many vintage pens in the wild. Yeah, well, yeah, I guess it depends on where you're at, right? Uh, being in Wisconsin, I'm like really close to obviously Parker, You've got Chicago. I'm close to, so there is, there's Wall Eversharp was in Chicago. Conklin was in Chicago for a while. Not the good Conklins. Sheaffer is relatively close. So I mean, for us up here, we don't have too bad of a time. Do you think the pastel colored pens, they're faded in color over the years? Yeah, they have. They will fade. I mean, this pink one is obviously, you can see the difference. One of these days I'll bring out, if I haven't already, there is a burgundy LK Deluxe that fades to purple. So unfortunately, every once in a while you get one that fades, and there's also a burgundy desk pen that will fade to the same color purple. So what happens is, and on a desk pen, there's, in most cases, it's all faded, so it looks like it was purple to begin with. So people think there was a purple Esterbrook, and there really wasn't. It was never a purple. It was some other color that faded to purple. Typically burgundy. You did find a PFM 3 in green, so that makes up for not finding that many, I guess. Yeah, because in 27 years of pen collecting, I found exactly one PFM in the wild. And for me, it was something equally as ridiculous. It was a PFM 1 in gray, and it was a quarter. And no, it was not in 1972. It was like 10 years ago. It was ridiculous. I was like laughing all the way home. It's one of those cases where, I mean, $50 in it, that's fantastic. That's absurd. This is really, and it's the best color. It really is. Green is the best color. That's awesome. I sometimes, and I don't usually have a tell when now Hans knows my secret now, so the next time I have a way I do things when I'm looking at large lots of pens, or when I'm looking at pens, but I try to maintain composure until I'm like well out of range, like in the car, start the car, drive down the street, make at least 1 or 2 turns, and what usually happens is Lisa will be like, and I'll go, okay, I'll be at the store, and like there'll be a tray of pens, right? And I'll go, okay, I'll take that one, I'll take that one, that one, that one, that one. And Lisa will look at me like, okay, it's a normal thing now. You're right. She doesn't really second guess. Sometimes she does. She's like, well, I don't get it. And we'll pay. I'll turn around. I'll walk out, and I'll kind of have like a little smirk on my face, and I won't say a word. And Lisa will look at me, and she knows something's up, and I just smile, and I just walk out. We get in the car. She said, what? I get in the car, close the door. What? Turn the car on, put it in reverse, back up down the street, and then I'll just start laughing. She goes, what? Well, that was a PFM for 25 cents or whatever, No, I know I didn't pass. No, I didn't pass up the gray for 75 cents. It was actually, or it was a quarter. Yeah, sorry. What was it? It was like, yeah, it was marked $1. And this estate sale did, like, Friday, everything was full price. Saturday, everything was 50% off. And Sunday, everything was 50 off, 50 off, so 75% off. So it was originally marked $1, and it sat at the estate sale for 2.5 days. 2.5 days. The funny thing is I also bought an Esterbrook, a plain black with clear taper Model W Esterbrook desk pen in a marble base, the completely wrong base. Was originally marked 3, so I paid 75 cents for it. It was 3 times as expensive as the PFM, but it had a good nib. And then I got to checkout, and I'm like, I realized I can't remember what the deal was. I had no cash, or I only had like large bill or something. It came to like $1.05, and I'm like, I was almost panicked because I was going to have to go around and find something else to buy because I didn't have, I wasn't going to charge $1.05 on a credit card, but maybe I did. Maybe I did it on a debit card. I don't remember what happened. But yeah, why do we hear so much more about the PFM as compared to their apparent popularity if you don't find them? I mean, I guess I mean, I don't look for them. I really don't. So some people probably do buy on, I'm sure people do buy on eBay, whatever. And maybe that's where a lot of these are coming up. But I haven't bought a pen on eBay and I don't know how long. And maybe that's where they're turning up, but I do a fair amount of antique hunting. In fact, we're going on Saturday. We've got a trip planned actually for a few weeks now. We're going to go someplace Saturday morning. And I go probably more than the average bear. Yeah, you found your antique store years ago. I go probably more than the average bear, and I don't even see them broken. I mean, I don't buy everything I see because if it's overpriced and it's broken and sometimes I'll buy broken stuff just for the parts, but never seen one. And I saw one at that estate sale that one time, and it's probably ruined me because it was the deal of a lifetime for that one pen. I'll never find another one. I would have gladly paid $50 for it if it meant I'd find 3 more in my life. I need a J-bar for this guy. And the problem is I kind of wish if they were more prevalent, I would keep one for myself. Because I love the Legacy. What a great pen, I love the Legacy. And it's obviously a copy of the PFM, but you're a bit very out of the loop on all the vintage stuff. What's the PFM? What's that short for? So PFM is a Sheaffer, is the large size Sheaffer snorkel. And it completely would not fly today. It stands for Pen for Men, because apparently no woman in that time frame would have wanted a oversized. And it's not that. It's not that big. Oversized snorkel. But yeah, it's a pen for men. It's completely not politically correct. It's just ridiculous. But It's a great pen. And if you actually go back and if you want to watch probably July, like I think I started uploading streams to YouTube on July 28th, I think maybe. Might have been the first one. I did a whole tray, like 13 PFMs, all the colors and the different trim variations. So there's a bunch of those that you can kind of look through. They're a little bit light though for me. I mean, I'll do like a little bit heavier. All right, let's see if that was enough from the ultrasonic here. Is it a bit like the Sailor King of Pen, but Sheaffer? No, it's not that size. I put it away, but the new Legacy that I showed off at the beginning of the stream, it's that size. It's I don't have anything here. A bunch of ballpoints. It was big compared to what was referred to as the TM model, the thin model snorkel. Yeah, it's that size. Yeah, you saw it. Yeah. You've been picking up antique stores lately. A small votive type glassware. Found one in translucent pink glass and milk glass. They're great for putting ink bottles. Okay. They hold 30 ml diamine and Oster bottles. Those that might tip over. Oh, nice. I've got something that'll blow your mind. You want to see something nutty? That'll do that same thing that maybe you don't even know exists. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Which actually I do want to. Let me think where it is. It's in this room somewhere. Sure, Don says on YouTube. Let me pull these parts out. Sorry, I've purposely put the ultrasonic a little bit further apart, further away. So I have to kind of. That one is 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, now let me think about this. It's in a box. I saw it about 10 times when I moved. Let's see if I can think where it is. Give me a second. It's worth the wait if you've never seen it. I somehow managed to pick the exact box it was in, not being labeled. And if you're a modern fan, you may not even know this exists. And I'm just going to put this out Let's move these off to the side a little bit. And I'm going to put it out there. And let's see if any of you even knew this existed, because I didn't know this existed. Anybody know anything about this? This is maybe one of the coolest things ever. It's called the Twisby ball. And it has, right? Okay, now don't please don't be emailing Twisby about this, because they're just simply not available. I don't want to get in trouble for it. 11, 22 and a half, 34 and 45 degrees. They're not available they were not available in the United States. So apparently, this was just kind of a side project, just for fun. And it has these flat spots on here. And so you can rotate it for different angles. I don't know if it won't fit a Waterman, but Waterman's got that on it anyway. No, it won't fit a sailor bottle. Like, it would fit like, you know, the tall skinny bottles, you know, like an Aurora or the old Aurora. So apparently it's not very cool, because none of the bottles I have are actually going to fit in this thing. Will this fit in there? No, that won't fit in there either. I was thinking, wow, this would be great for Waterman, but it doesn't fit that. I don't have anything here. I also don't have all my ink, so, but yeah, so it's, I mean, it's got to fit in there. Now you have to find one. Thanks for that. Yeah. It just goes on the shelf of cool stuff. Yeah, it's got the logo laser etched in there. What just a seriously cool idea. Diamine would fit. Yeah, probably. I don't have a bottle of that. What do I have any bottle of ink here that might fit it? I don't know. I'm not gonna go on the shelf and grab anything, but yeah. So it would allow you to tilt it, and that's pretty extreme on that angle. But anyway, yeah, don't be emailing Twisby now. It would look next nice to your platinum crystal inkwell and ashtray. It would be a great ashtray, wouldn't it? For cigars or something. Be sacrilege. Use it as an ashtray. Yeah, smaller. I mean, it's got to be a smaller. I mean, it's too bad that the Waterman bottle doesn't fit, although that would be hilarious. Yeah, this could probably be 3D printed, but I mean, this is one heavy piece of glass. It's beautiful. It's really a cool thing. Maybe I need to recommend using some other bottle of ink so that I can actually use that. But yeah, it's the Twisby ball. Yeah, apparently he was friends with a glass company, and they made it to help him out. If I see another one, keep in mind. Yeah, I think I'm more impressed that I knew exactly where it was just by looking around the room. Like, oh, there's a box that's not labeled. It must be in that one. And of course, it's on the top shelf. It's rare that anything modern is exciting to you. Yeah. Twisby does a good job. I love Philip. Philip's a good guy. He calls once in a while. I chatted with him last week, I think it was. Anyway. Diversion. Ooh, look, a chicken. Yeah, I was out getting on 4:30. I almost I might close it up a little bit early on Mondays and Wednesdays. I might adjust the schedule just slightly. Now that I'm not at home. If I close up a little bit early, then I can get out of here on time. You have a half dozen of his pens. They're surprisingly good. I should join you for your homeowner association meeting in 40 minutes. Yeah, it should be fun. Is it on Zoom? Can I zoom in and they go, who is this guy? Yeah, I have collected over the years a very small sampling of Twisbys. The rules technically allow outside director. That why would be considered an outside director? Director of what? Director of complete nonsense. I'm going to spin these caps out, and that might be it for today. Actually, give me a little time. I've got to set these other pens aside so I remember to get those pens back to their rightful owners. Nice pens today. It's fun to see those. Yeah. I don't think I'm going to be doing Model J's anytime soon until people buy me out of what I got. So I'm going to be doing, I got a lot of nice pastels. I mean, they're kind of small for the average person, but the colors are fantastic. I mean, these, especially these later models, these really vibrant colors and the color match jewels. Those are the best. We have had at least one account of a successful salad spinner creation in our Appleton Pen Club. At least one. We'll find out. I don't even. I better check the schedule when the next club meeting is. I'm presenter, so I better be there. Then I hope I get a, well, shoot. I was presenter last month. I'm presenter this month, and then next month is Pelican Hub, which Lisa's hub master. So maybe after that I'll take a month off. All right, Don. Thank you for attending, chiming in. See you next time, tomorrow, whenever. All right. I am going to end it there. We'll finish working on these tomorrow. We'll get these sacked, and then we can work on some. I've got some other pastels. Maybe not as pretty, but they're nice. They're nice. So, yeah. So we'll call it a day. And tomorrow, what is tomorrow? Oh, tomorrow's. I might adjust the schedule for tomorrow too. So, well, we'll figure it out. Anyway, that's it. Hope everyone has a great evening, a great morning, great afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Be kind, be well, and we'll catch you tomorrow. All right? Take care. Bye now.